So I Over there.
I didn't get anything on Sunday. We can talk later, but I just checked my email.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There he is. Morning.
How you doing? Good, good. Morning, Jim.
Okay, my pen, it's my pen over there. I just have mine, that's all I've got. Oh, I left it in your oven.
Oh,
All right. Good morning, everyone. Let's start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The prayer today is about mental health. Thank God for the work of mental health professionals and pray for their compassion, patience, and sensitivity. Also pray God will equip them with the skills they need to help others, and that they will be filled with God's Holy Spirit. Heavenly Father, giver of life and health, comfort and relieve those challenged by serious chronic mental and emotional illness. Give your power to heal those who minister to their needs, and that they may be strengthened in their weakness and have confidence in their loving care. Through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen. Linda, you want to start us out?
Sure. On April 4th, for Community and Economic Development, I approved the promotion of Elaine Malkamaki to the position of Project Manager, number 1411, to be effective April 13th, 2025, at the rate of $26.56 per hour, grade 11, step 3, with a 180-day probationary period. She's in here, so congratulations.
congratulations.
Linda, you're missing the financial. Do you have them
I have financials.
from April 2nd?
No, I don't have that.
That's fine.
I have an extra.
Thank you. Okey dokey. On April 2nd, I approved an appropriation transfer from the Board of Elections in the Special Election Fund to move money into their Medicare account. There's a $35 voucher from the commissioners to the Geauga County Township Association for travel expenses related to the quarterly dinner meeting, and a certification in the commissioner's airport construction fund for money that will be transferred to help construct a new T hangar.
Does that mean Amy's going to our township association dinner?
Yes.
All right.
Yep, I talked with her and she's excited to join us.
I'm excited for everyone to meet her there.
Okay, item number 3. The Commissioner's Office is requesting the board approve and execute the minutes for the meeting of March 25th, 2025. So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Spillier.
Hey.
Commissioner Brady.
Aye.
Commissioner DeWark.
Yes. Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
Adrian Gordon, Commissioner's Office, covering today's financials. Among the financials is a transfer from the general fund to public assistance for our April through June 2025 mandated share. Among the encumbrances are then and now encumbrances from aging to Mark Glassman Incorporated for 2024 purchases, from the sheriff to UH Regional Hospitals for 2024 inmate medical bills, and from Water Resources, the Ohio Water Development Authority for the McFarland wastewater treatment plant improvements, debt admin expenses, all of which were not previously encumbered. There are travel encumbrances from Common Pleas Court to attend the 2025 Ohio Association of Magistrates Spring Conference, from engineering to attend the County Engineers Association of Ohio Bridge Workers, Supervisors, and Engineers Conference, from JFS to accompany a child on an out-of-state visitation, and for the 2 days in May, Every Step of Victory Conference, from probate court to attend the 2025 Ohio Bailiffs and Court Officers Association Spring Conference, and from Water Resources to attend the County Sewer Engineers Association of Ohio Summer Conference. Among the vouchers is $104,105 from the Commissioner's Office to Ravenwood Mental Health Center for our second quarter youth center operations commitment, $88,826 from the Engineer's Office to Tim Lally Chevrolet Incorporated for two 2025 Chevy Silverado inspector trucks. Found out later that these were not replacement vehicles; they were additions to the fleet. And then finally, $31,240 from maintenance to Cleveland Vicon Company to install motorized door openers in the Geauga County office building.
So those are the doors, like these doors, and then is it for Board of Elections as well?
Yes,
Okay.
for handicap access.
It's expensive.
Yes.
All right, I'll make a motion to approve the financials.
Second.
Commissioner Spudler.
Aye.
Commissioner Brady.
Aye.
Commissioner DeWort.
Yes.
You want to do the next one? Adrian.
Okay. So the next item on the agenda is, are the monthly statements from county finances. The first one is from the auditor's office. They're requesting the board accept, execute, and file the monthly statement of county finances filed by the county auditor for the months of October through December 2024 and January and February of 2025 pursuant to ORC 319.35. And then
Yeah,
you
go
want to
ahead.
do the next one? Okay.
Yeah,
The next one is the treasurer's office is requesting the board accept, execute, and file the monthly statement of county finances filed by the county treasurer for the months of October through December 2024 and January and February of 2025 pursuant to ORC 319.35.
I'll make a motion to approve 5 and 6.
Second.
Commissioner Spudler.
Aye.
Commissioner Brady.
Aye.
Commissioner DeWort.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Good morning,
Morning.
Frank Antonucci, ADP Board. I am here today to request that the board approve the standard resolution to allow the ADP Board to execute an agreement with Chardon Township to provide them ADP services. Specifically, we're looking at extending to them 2 phones. They were given notice that their copper phones are no longer supported. So they're looking to add to the VoIP system we use here at the Mitels.
I'll make a motion to approve 7.
Second.
Commissioner Spudler.
Aye.
Commissioner Brady.
Aye.
Commissioner DeWort.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Morning.
Morning, Shane Hajar, Engineer's Office. Item number 8, County Engineer's Office is requesting the board approve and execute Resolution 25-060 to order the realignment of Bainbridge Road at Washington Street and the traffic signalization in Auburn Township. Cover sheet of the plans was previously executed by the board on February 11th, 2025. Further, this resolution sets the bid opening on Bid Express and through the County Engineer's Office for Friday, May 2nd at 10:05 a.m. Notice of the bid opening will be advertised on April 10th and April 17th and on the county website.
Make that motion.
Second.
Commissioner Spudler.
Aye.
Commissioner Brady.
Aye.
Commissioner DeWort.
Yes. Thank you. Good morning.
Hi, good morning. Jessica Bolt, Director, Geauga County Department on Aging. I'm here this morning with a request for 3 merit increases for staff. The first is for Sandy Strichko, transportation driver, to the rate of $17.97, moving up 1 step for the purpose of, she's a newer driver with us, has really stepped up. Not only are we getting wonderful comments about her from our clients, letters, but her supervisor had to take some leave and she went right in saying, how can I help? How can I do more? Can I do some scheduling? Can I do some of his job? So that just is the kind of worker that we want. Excellent employee. The next individual is Joshua Burton. He's our chore and home safety projects coordinator. We're asking for a merit increase of 1 step to $24.98 per hour. He has served 1,411 Geauga County seniors through our chore and home safety program. Not only is he hands-on, but when a senior needs a ramp and it is beyond their budget, he is going out to our local Rotaries, he is going out to our VFWs, working with JFS and trying to find the funds so that senior doesn't have to go without. And the last is Hannah Hines. She's our Recreation and Education Coordinator at our Middlefield Senior Center. We're asking for a one-step increase for her to be at $25.66 an hour. And she has increased the census at our senior center. They're in the 500s. Over 500 seniors are going to the Middlefield Senior Center, and we were in the 300s last year. Her attitude is infectious, absolutely positive. She's been focusing on veterans programming, and she is now a health and wellness instructor doing diabetes self-management and matter of balance classes.
Great, I'll approve 9 through 11.
Commissioner Spudler.
Aye.
Commissioner Brinkley.
Aye.
Commissioner DeBoer.
Yes, and I'm so happy that you have a great staff around you.
I am so fortunate. They're wonderful. They're wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Morning. Elaine Malkamaki, Community and Economic Development. I have number 12.
What's your new title though?
Oh, Program Manager.
Thank you.
I have number 12 and number 13 on the agenda today. Number 12 is Community and Economic Development is requesting the board award the bid to Country Roofing LLC for the CDBG project Chagrin Falls Park Community Center for a roof replacement in the amount of $64,430.56 as they represented the lowest and best bid.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Commissioner Spudler.
Aye.
Commissioner Brinkley.
Aye.
Commissioner Rea.
Yes,
And item number 13, we are requesting the board award the bid to Lindsay Construction and Design Incorporated for the CDBG project Maple Leaf Community Residences. They are getting roof and window replacements on 3 homes in the amount of $98,859.65 as they represented the lowest and best bid.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Commissioner Spudler.
Aye.
Commissioner Brinkley.
Aye.
Commissioner DeBoer.
yes.
Thank you.
Seems like you have a new look every week.
Yep. How's our time?
And no man
It's 9:32.
Yeah, it's going.
Clean
I
cut.
got 3 minutes.
Yeah.
We're good.
All right,
He got
Matt
big
Saraki,
promotion. He's got to look the part. All right.
Matt Saraki, Maintenance Department, Contract Coordinator. I have 14 and 15 today. 14 being the Maintenance Department is requesting the board approve and execute the agreement for professional surveying services with Gutowski and Associates Incorporated to perform professional surveying services at various county locations per the director for a 2-year period effective April 8th, 2025 in an amount not to exceed $15,000.
Didn't we do this last week or was this a similar one last week or am I misremembering? No.
It was on the tentative agenda.
Okay. And then it got pulled.
Had been finalized with.
I got it. I was like, I swear I looked at these papers.
Yeah.
before.
We
Okay.
tried to make it happen, it didn't happen.
Okay. Got it. I'll make a motion to approve.
Second that.
Commissioner Spudler.
Aye.
Commissioner Brinkley.
Aye.
Commissioner DeBoer.
Yes,
And then number 15, we're requesting the board approve and execute the contract agreement with Cable Communications Incorporated to install cameras at the Geauga County Office Building per the specifications to be effective April 8th, 2025, with all work to be completed within 180 days in an amount not to exceed $20,951.68.
So the only question I have, are we sure we need 5 cameras on the east side of the building? Like how many cameras do we have on the other sides of the building?
That is an EDP question. I believe.
Okay.
Can I phone a friend?
I'll join you, Matt.
Okay, appreciate it.
Frank Antonucci, ADP. Yeah, I mean, we have roughly, over 100 total cameras, and of that group, there's about 30 outside.
Okay.
That one east side did not get any. So we
Okay.
originally had 6 and then scaled it back to 5 to get full coverage.
Okay.
So And scaling back as far as we possibly could, the 5 covers all of the dark spots on that side of the building.
Okay, okay. All right. No, I mean, I was just curious. I know these cameras can really reach so far.
The problem is the angles on that side of the building and where it gets.
Okay.
There's some overlapping coverage, but that's to ensure that there's no dark spots with it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
All right, I'll make a motion to approve 15.
Second.
Commissioner Spillier.
Aye.
Commissioner Brady.
Aye.
Commissioner Davis.
Yes.
I have
Thank you very much.
Yep. Thanks for your comment.
The next two are gonna have to wait. We're gonna have to move to item number 18 on the agenda.
It's 9:45. We'll start our public hearing for the proposed vacation of the right-of-way upon Sand Hill Trail, TR-0753 in Monson Township.
Do I have a motion to waive the reading of the legal
So
notice?
Second.
Commissioner Spitaleri.
Aye.
Commissioner Brady.
Aye.
Commissioner DeWart.
Yes.
Okay. And then, who wants to swear anybody in?
I can do it.
Yeah, that's fine.
Who's gonna, or just you two are gonna testify today? Anyone else? Or
I
make any
believe
comments?
there may be some other, a party or two in the audience. If there's anybody here who may be speaking with regard to the Sand Hill Trail Road vacation, Mr. Lee, are you, oh, hi, is your wife here?
She's.
Okay, all right, is there anybody else? Oh my gosh, I'm excited. So I guess, if we can swear Mr. Lee in and, Tracy as well.
Okay, very good. Can you guys raise your right hand? Do you swear to testify truthfully under penalty of perjury? Thank you.
Okay. As the board is aware, Munson Township filed a petition for the vacation of Sand Hill Trail. And the board passed a resolution indicating that it may be in the public convenience and welfare to vacate the road, and of course, scheduled a hearing and sent out the required notice to the abutting property owners. The county engineer issued a report, and we'll have the engineer read the report into evidence. But I just have a couple of quick questions for Ms. Salkowitz before you read the report in, if that's okay with the board.
Yep.
Okay. Ms. Salkowitz, has Sand Hill Trail ever been constructed, improved, or maintained as a road?
No,
Okay. Has it been used in any way as a road?
no,
Okay. Are any utilities installed on, under, or over Sand Hill Trail?
not to our knowledge.
Okay. And is it your opinion that the road has been abandoned by Munson Township and not used for over 21 years?
Yes,
Okay. And is there any reason to believe that Sand Hill Trail will be used as a road anytime in the future?
no,
And Matthias Lee and Jessica Lee, are they the owners of the abutting parcels along Sand Hill Trail?
yes,
Okay. Are they the only owners of abutting parcels along Sand Hill Trail?
yes,
And is Sand Hill Trail used to calculate the distribution of auto registration, distribution fund monies?
no,
Okay. And are the Lees the only ones who would be directly benefited by the road vacation?
yes.
Okay. Okay. Could you read your report into the record?
Yes,
Okay, thank you.
I have updated copies for the board. If it's all right, may I approach?
Yes.
Sure.
Okay.
I get those into the record and mark it as updated. Tracy, you said that it's updated.
Yes. This also includes correspondence between the Lease and the township.
Okay, I'm just gonna mark this one updated and more.
Sure. Yep.
History of Sand Hill Trail, Township Road 0753. Sand Hill Farm Estates, a subdivision of 56.478 acres. Effective December 21st, 1979, Sandhill Farm Estates was recorded in Volume 13, pages 68 through 69 of the Geauga County Records of Plats per court order for case number 80M154 in the Court of Common Pleas of Geauga County. Sandhill Trail and Sandstone Drive may or may not have been dedicated. Neither Sandhill Trail nor Sandstone Drive were ever physically constructed and have never been used as a public highway for a period greater than 21 years. Sandstone Drive was vacated on March 17, 2015. The vacation of Sandhill Trail will vacate approximately 1.981 acres of land. Current events. Township trustee action. On Tuesday, February 25th, 2025, the Munson Township Board of Trustees passed resolution number 2025-03, petitioning the Geauga County Board of Commissioners to vacate the easement upon all of Sandhill Trail pursuant to section 5553.045 of the Ohio Revised Code. Per the resolution, whereas the Munson Township Board of Trustees desires to vacate its easement upon the portion of Sandhill Trail that extends from Mayfield Road south along a non-existent and never-built cul-de-sac, drafted upon one tract of land composed of a series of parcels, as follows. Parcel numbers 21-176303, 21-176304, 21-176305, 21-176306, 21-176307, 21-176308, 21-176309, 21-176-310, 21-176-311, 21-176-312, 21-176-313, 21-176-314, 21-176-315, 21-176-316, 21-176-317, 21-176-318, and 21-176-319, containing approximately 35 acres of land. The location of the public right-of-way to be vacated is as followed. Sandhill Trail, beginning at a point where the center line of Rock Haven Road, Township Road 0106, intersects with the center line of Mayfield Road, US 322, then easterly along said center line of Mayfield Road, US 322, approximately 2,369.70 feet, to the point where the center line of said Mayfield Road, US 322, intersects with the center line of Sandhill Trail. Then southerly along the center line of said Sandhill Trail, 66 feet to the southerly right-of-way of Mayfield Road, US 322, and the principal point of beginning. Then southerly approximately 1,250 feet to the existing terminus of Sandhill Trail. Auto registration funds. Sandhill Trail is not used to calculate distributions of the Auto Registration Distribution Fund. Underlying fee. This action will release, cancel, rescind, and vacate the public right-of-way of said Sandhill Trail as described above, allowing the portion of Sandhill Trail to be transferred in fee to the adjoining landowner that fronts the parcel. Abutting property owners. All of the properties abutting the never constructed Sandhill Trail have the same property owner. Matthias A. and Jessica S. Lee own sublots 1 through 17, permanent parcel numbers 21176303 through 21176319 of the Sandhill Farm Estates. There's a house constructed on sublot 5, permanent parcel number 21176307, and outbuildings constructed on sublots 3 and 4, permanent parcel numbers 21176305 and permanent parcel number 211-76306 respectively. Access to the house on Sublet 5 is via a drive access, 10261 Mayfield Road, along the westerly property line of the Sandhill Farm Estates on Mayfield Road. The plat for Sandhill Farm Estates dedicated an additional 36 foot of right-of-way along the frontage on Mayfield Road for future widening. The Ohio Department of Transportation was notified of Munson Township's request for vacation on Friday, February 14, 2025. Only the portion of the right-of-way which may or may not have been dedicated, excluding the 36-foot section of right-of-way that runs parallel with Mayfield Road, is being included in this vacation. All abutting property owners were notified, and notice of the hearing was published in accordance with Ohio law. Intent: to vacate all of the public right-of-way of said Sandhill Trail as described above, to not extinguish the rights of ingress, egress reserved under the law, if any, of the abutting property owners named herein, and to remove public utilities rights of ingress, egress, or easement rights within the vacated right-of-way limits resulting from a road vacation per state law. In conclusion, based on the above facts that have been carefully evaluated and that the proposed area to be vacated have no impacts on the traveling public, the community, the environment, or overall transportation network, the Office of the Geauga County Engineer believes the vacation requested is justified and is for the public convenience and necessity.
Thank you. And actually, that's traditionally what's done in road vacation hearings. We have the engineer's office read the report into the record. If it's okay with the board, I also have a couple questions for Mr. Lee.
Sure.
Mr. Lee, just to acknowledge you've been sworn in, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And did you approach Munson Township and request that Sandhill Trail be vacated?
We did.
Okay. And why was that? Just out of curiosity?
It seems unnecessary.
Sure.
And, along our property, we want to put a little trail in so we can get around, and we weren't sure whether we can cross that or we could put a trail across it.
Okay.
We wanted to remove that, and then ultimately want to recombine the lots.
Okay. So you're actively seeking to consolidate all of the parcels?
Yes.
Is that all 17 parcels?
Yes.
Okay.
So I have a letter that I addressed to the engineer's office that states that as well.
Okay.
We would like to comment that.
Is that
This is as of yesterday.
as of yesterday?
Yes.
Oh, okay, sure.
The Munson Township board recommended that I draft something like that up. I do also have a couple of extra copies in case you guys want one.
Okay, so you have engaged Mike Spellacy and Mike Douglas of Polaris Engineering and Surveying to begin the necessary work to consolidate and reconfigure the lots?
Yes.
Initial surveying field work was completed as of last week, is that correct?
Yes.
And you indicate in here in a letter dated December 30th, we requested the Munson Township Board of Trustees initiate the necessary procedures to vacate Sandhill Trail as outlined in ORC 5553045. And this letter is dated April 7th.
Yes.
Okay. Put this in the evidence there. And when will the consolidation be complete?
I don't know what.
He wishes he knew that answer.
So they haven't indicated?
Well, our understanding was that this hearing has to happen first.
Well,
And I don't know. It sounds like there's a couple of alignments between meetings that has to happen with
Sure. So regardless though, this meeting aside, how long is the consolidation expected to last? The process procedure?
I would imagine less than 90 days, but that's
Okay.
I really don't know. That's just.
And is your intent to consolidate those parcels into one parcel, or how many parcels?
It's to be determined whether it's gonna be 2 or 4.
Okay, so it's unknown. And will all of the new consolidated parcels front on Mayfield Road?
Yes.
Okay, is there a chance that the new consolidated parcels may not front on Mayfield Road?
That's like, it's going to be at least 2, at most 4. We're trying to figure out what makes sense.
Sure.
We have no intent of actually developing any of those parcels. We really like the forest. It was unfortunately very impacted by the storm that we had last summer. And we're kind of waiting for all of this to be done before we can start clearing out down trees. I mean, we lost hundreds of trees in the storm last summer.
Your driveway access is currently on Mayfield Road, right?
It is, yes.
Is it 10261 Mayfield Road? Okay. And are you gonna maintain that access? Will that continue
That's our
to be your?
intent.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I don't know if any of the board members have any questions for Mr. Lee? Any questions? Okay. Mr. Lee, do you have any questions of us? Or anything that you'd like to say? And I'm the attorney for the Board of County Commissioners.
I don't know if I think I've mentioned all the things that I was going to say is that we're, trying to split this or consolidate to get rid of the 17 parcels that it is now
Sure.
into either 2 or 4 lots. We have no intent of developing this land. We really enjoy that forest. We just want to sort of simplify what is there and make sure that it is, a proper set of parcels.
And understandably, with the vacation of Sand Hill Trail, that will result in, despite your efforts, that will result in some landlocked parcels. And generally the board tries to avoid that.
Mhm.
So, that may be a consideration for the board. Obviously, I can't speak for the board. But, because only 2 of those parcels, I think right now, the 2 that are closest to Mayfield Road actually front on Mayfield Road.
Mhm. I guess I was under the impression that that it was a order of operations thing for removing the road before we can reconfigure the parcels, which is, I guess, why we started that process first.
Sure. And I guess, again, I can't speak for the board, but I mean, obviously there's a couple of options here. One, to obviously vacate the road based on the testimony and the evidence that goes in today. Or 2, to deny the vacation of the road, which would allow you to do your consolidation and then obviously reapply depending on the board's concerns.
I see.
I guess.
Okay.
Unless, do you see it any differently or?
I guess I wasn't aware that one could consolidate those parcels without removing the road, without having to, that land that ends up being in the middle of the lots essentially.
Sure.
I guess I'm trying to avoid having to
And again,
reconsolidate,
sure,
remove the road and then reconsolidate again.
sure. And I'm just trying to get some information into the record so the board can make an informed decision. Any other questions, anybody?
So what he's saying is that correct? Then he can't consolidate those lots with that.
Unfortunately, I don't represent any townships, so I don't know what Munson, and I've never represented Munson, so I don't know what their practice is per se. So I don't know what other issues may arise as a result of any decision that the board may make, depending on the specific facts and circumstances. And I know that's kind of
Although, I mean, Munson is asking us to do this. I mean, they're the requesting party. So I think if they wanted a different procedure, Munson would ask us in a different step, right?
Sure.
I mean, I did read the relevant sections of the code, and this is a very bizarre subset of the law, to say the least, about these.
I know it's fun to try to reconcile all the applicable sections.
Yeah, I'm glad this isn't my area of expertise, but I learned a little bit from that. But I mean, it does seem like we're following, if we vacate this easement, we're following the law, and it doesn't seem like there's any pockets that should be putting money in, taking money out. So
sure. And
as far as I read it.
Yep. And just for purposes of clarification, it's my understanding that normally well, you have two options. You either have a highway easement that is present, or you have a situation where the township owns the road in fee. And
Mhm.
apparently this is one of those situations. So, what that basically means is that the board would vacate they would vacate their right of way, but we would probably do the additional step of a deed to
Okay,
transfer
so that,
that.
all right, so that was one thing I was gonna ask, if the township actually owns this land, and they do own the land, is that correct?
And, I'm sure Tracy could speak to that, but that's my understanding.
Okay,
They do. Our office is currently working on the vacation plat
okay,
and then the deeds, which
Okay.
would transfer each of those parcels back over to the adjacent
If,
sublot.
if the
If
board
that was-
decides to go that route.
okay,
Because unfortunately, sometimes we don't know which way the board's gonna go, of course. So
Right.
we try to prepare for any contingency.
okay, I understand.
Mm-hmm.
And so typically, how is that handled? So that the property, the adjacent property owner becomes the owner in fee simple without any
To
money?
the center of the line. of
Okay,
the
to the
road.
center of the line, without any money exchanged to the township. Is that correct? Because I mean, essentially, they're letting the township off the hook of having to maintain the
Correct.
road. So there's a benefit, I would assume, both ways.
And that's the thing, because I mean, when there is a road vacation, the acreage that abuts of the road that abuts the property line to the center of the road accretes as a matter of law to the abutting property owner. In other words, it just transfers to them.
Yeah,
So that is correct. Whatever roads vacated, the abutting property owners their acreage will increase.
okay. All right. I just wanted to make sure I understood this. So I mean, it's somewhat of a windfall for the property owner, but in a way, it's a windfall for the township too.
And again, as I indicated, there is the issue of, technically right now, we only have the two on Mayfield Road, and we have, the other parcels. So, depending on the, how the board feels about the evidence that's gone in today, I mean, obviously they could, make a decision.
Okay. So but I just see the hearing on the agenda today. So are we able to make a motion after we get out of the hearing?
You can close the hearing and make a motion. We are waiting for the plat to be
Okay.
finished, so it may make, and it's
So
up
we
to
may
you guys,
wait.
but it may make sense for the board to close the hearing, and then at their, at your next session, next Tuesday,
Okay.
then take action.
I
Because
understand.
all the interested parties are here, so
Okay.
they're aware of what the board will do,
Okay.
depending on what you guys want to do.
I understand. Okay. I don't, oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I just want to note that the last session that we have as a board is April 29, before we reach that 60-day deadline of communication.
Well, this is a request from the township and the landowner. And if we have something that would relieve any liabilities from the county, I'm
Well-
I'm okay with it.
And that's the thing, because and I agree with you, it is a little bit unusual. So I guess, Mr. Lee, I guess if the board does consider doing the vacation prior to you consolidating the lots, would you be willing to agree that, to waive any potential damages as a result of vacating the road prior to doing the consolidation? In other words, because you have landlocked parcels?
I don't fully understand
Okay.
what all those liabilities might be. I mean, the matter of fact right now is that they are already landlocked, and we have to cross across the parcels that do abut Mayfield Road
Mhm.
to get to the parcel that our house is on. And that isn't changing. So I don't know if I fully understand what other liabilities there may be.
Okay, and it's just the fact that if they vacate the road, that will formally create this situation. So, and if they rely on your representation that you will immediately proceed to consolidate those parcels, whereas the board could just deny the request to vacate, and then obviously you'd have to consolidate and come back.
Mhm. I mean, we are in the process of vacating. We would like this to be done as soon as possible. So this is something that is in motion right now.
Sure.
So whatever whatever we can do to try to bring this to a close, and finish the consolidation and everything, and the vacating of the road, I think, we'll be in favor of that.
Okay.
Okay,
I don't have any further questions. Should we close the hearing?
no further questions, so
Anybody else? Okay. I have 10:10.
public hearing is not closed. Get back on this next week.
So they have session, next Tuesday at 9:30.
Yes.
So this will be an agenda item on the session next week. So if you should choose to come back, next Tuesday at 9:30, the board may have a decision
Okay.
with regard to the request.
Okay.
Any other questions? Nope. Okay.
Questions for me?
Nope.
I'm good.
Good.
Thank you.
Anything else?
16. May.
Yes.
Good morning.
Good morning.
But you wish to talk a little bit faster,
Yeah.
didn't you?
Just a few minutes faster.
You almost made it in there.
All right, Charles T. Catch, Maintenance Department. I have item number 16 on the agenda. The Maintenance Department is requesting the board approve and execute the agreement for professional design services with Verdantis Architecture Incorporated to provide professional design and contract administration services related to upgrading the existing roof on the Courthouse Annex 231 and 237 Main Street buildings located in Chardon in an amount not to exceed $24,740.
So what is your estimate for what the whole project is going to cost? Or you kind of have to see what is going on with the roof first?
Probably around 90 to 100,000 just to replace the roof.
Okay,
They have had some water intrusion over the past couple of years, so
Yeah.
there may need to be some repair work. That's
Okay.
not included in that estimate right now until we do the design and see how much
understood.
damage there is here.
Also, what is going on with your scanner? Because every time you submit something, there's all these extra pages in there. I'm like, they're testing me. Maybe talk to ADP about that. But I'll make a motion to approve number 16.
Second.
Mr. Spillier.
Aye.
Mr. Goodwin.
Aye.
Mr. DeBoer.
Yes.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
What happened to your hair, Nick? Did you have a hat on 30 seconds ago?
Probably air in my head. Yeah.
You were really scratching your head during that easement talk.
It was maybe, that was it, so.
The planning meeting.
The planning.
Oh, yeah, the planning
Commission,
meeting.
planning commission.
Planning
this morning.
commission.
How's
Must
that?
have been a heated one.
Yeah. Nick Orris, Water Resources, requesting the board approve and authorize the president of the board to execute the First Amendment to the Water and Wastewater Infrastructure Program Grant Agreement between the state of Ohio, Department of Development, and Geauga County for the Aquila Wastewater Treatment Plant Improvement Project Design and Engineering Grant, revising the expiration date. This is the final step. So basically, this is just, by the time the final report was approved, it had to be in by December 31st. They approved it like January 3rd. We've already received our reimbursement money, the final report, everything is. So this is just for them to close their books on their end.
I'll make a motion to approve 17.
Second.
Mr. Spillier.
Aye.
Mr. Goodwin.
Aye.
Mr. DeBoer.
Yes.
Thank you.
We have 19.
I'm just gonna start
I want to hear more
screaming during
about
this one.
credit cards.
Don't start screaming.
We thought, once a week worked out really well.
I anticipate a few more just to give you that heads up. This resolution.
Are you
is-
serious?
I am not kidding. I am dead serious. Well, as we have additional departments that are requesting to obtain credit cards, and as the process has been since we started, the changes are every time we're adding an employee, every time we're adding a credit card, we're changing limits. So I know of
Annually or
things
quarterly
to-
or, yeah.
Yes, so it's just, we have to work out the bugs this year, and that seems to be what we're doing. So this sixth amended resolution, 25061, is just adding additional employees through the common pleas court, just to add the magistrates, to be able to use them, as they have a travel. So that is number 19.
Is this something we can just have the county administrator approve?
That is something that we will have to look at adding, for next year.
Oh, okay, so
You
that's,
approved me to sign the forms,
I
but not
see.
to approve
Designate
the actual
the
use of the
employee forms,
cards.
but not the.
okay,
Because I've been signing the forms.
okay. And so we can only do that at the organizational meeting?
We can do an amended resolution. It's one of the things that Laura snuck out the door. We'll just have to confirm which
Okay.
one that we.
That might be a little more efficient than us having to read this paperwork every single.
Yes, so that is what number 6 is to allow the additional employees for county employees.
So so should we do,
So then number
Yeah.
20
and 21 too? Right?
is the, number 20 is the president to execute the application for authorization to permit the use of those employees for the common police court. Number 21, if you'd like to add it included, is the certification request. This is the quarterly certification request for veterans service commission. Their credit card we previously approved and other.
Okay.
So we do 19, 20, and 21 together.
All right, so I'll make a motion to approve 19, 20, and 21.
Second?
Commissioner Spitaleri?
Aye.
Commissioner Brady?
Aye.
Commissioner-
Yes.
I can do number 22. The Commissioner's Office is requesting the board approve and authorize the president of the board to execute change order number 6, increasing the contract with Infinity Construction Company on the Courthouse expansion project, GMP number 2, for additional millwork, courtroom podiums, monitor brackets, intercom systems for interview rooms, TV drops, and electrical revision, exterior secure parking gate conduit, and wall revisions at the security desk in the amount of $50,791. And you'll recall you approved this last week, and it is pending ADP. You were here
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks,
Yeah.
pending ADP approval of those elements in here that are subject to that. And I've been in communication with Frank, and he's gone. We've worked out which elements of that, and there is an ADP board meeting scheduled for April 28th. So we will get those elements before that board at that time.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think if I was at this meeting, I probably would have quibbled about those changes to the countertops or whatever that was gonna be marble or quartz, but it was already approved, so I'll make a motion to approve 22.
Second?
Commissioner Spitaleri?
Aye.
Commissioner Brady?
Aye.
Commissioner Black?
Yes.
Item number 23 pertains to the fact that we have the Title Bureau here in this building, and they leased the space from us. And it was time to renew that. And so I had talked with them a while ago, and they sent us the addendum. So 23 and 24 are related to each other. The Commissioner's Office is requesting the board approve and execute resolution number 25062, authorizing addendum number 2 to the lease with the State of Ohio Department of Public Safety for the Bureau of Motor Vehicles Chardon Deputy Registrar Office. The Commissioner's Office is requesting the board approve and execute addendum number 2 to the lease between the Geauga County Board of Commissioners and the Ohio Department of Public Safety for the Bureau of Motor Vehicles Chardon Deputy Registrar for the period July 1, 2025 through June 30, 2027 for the lease of 1,975 square feet of office space in the amount of $32,548 per year.
And who negotiated the rate? Was that you, Linda?
That already was done
Okay.
before I was involved at all. This is just the next step. It was already set in the agreement.
That there would be like a step up of the price?
Correct.
Okay, I understand. I'll make a motion to approve 23 and 24.
Second?
Commissioner Spitaleri?
Aye.
Commissioner Brady?
Aye.
Commissioner Black?
Yes.
It does mention here that the increase is a $16.48 per square foot.
Okay, yeah, I saw that the rate, because it went from 16 to 16.48, right? So I saw that the rate went up. I just assumed somebody,
It was part of, I think, the initial
I got you.
base lease.
Number 25 Commissioner's Office is requesting the board approve and execute Resolution number 25063, authorizing the Airport Authority to construct a new T hangar at the Geauga County Airport and to approve an appropriation of $800,000 from the general fund to the Airport Construction Fund for the purpose of contributing towards the construction and improvements at the airport in accordance with ORC 308.17. Now with this, we had prepared a pretty simple, straightforward resolution based on the resolution that you passed last year to give $20,000 to the board. And then there were some revisions to that were presented. So I don't know, Christy, did you bring two different versions?
Yeah.
So I'm not quite sure how you want us to present those to you for your consideration. Were both of them sent to them ahead of time? Okay, so we had a simple version and we had a more complicated version that included some accountability measures. And I don't know that those were ever sent to the Airport Authority for consideration. So do we want to read that aloud, or how do you guys want to proceed?
I'm comfortable with the simple, what we agreed in 2024.
How much money did you give in 2024?
But it was 1.3, now it's been reduced down to 800,000.
No, but
It
the
was
resolution
20,000.
for was 20,000.
The resolution.
Right,
this was- yes.
Right, I
Yes.
understand,
So,
yeah,
I mean, this is for significantly more money.
right.
And I mean, when I asked last week in session, I mean, I asked the question, so we aren't doing an agreement. And Commissioner Dvorak assured me that there would be language in the resolution to protect the taxpayer. So I think there should be language in the resolution that protects the taxpayer.
And that's the second version that was prepared and you have seen.
So, you want to speak on this?
Well, I don't know. We didn't receive the document. How can we
It's not a
respond?
contract, though, it's a resolution.
I understand that, but I mean, there's language there that I mean, just the courtesy of sending it to us, just to let us see it. I mean, when was it drafted?
Just in the last few days.
Okay, well, I mean, we had a draft board meeting last night. We would love to have seen it. I mean, we're under the gun. We took bids yesterday, and if we don't get this approved next week, we lose funding.
Do you want to go ahead and read the resolution, or?
I received the resolution from Laura this morning, back with the conditional resolution back, from Laura this morning with one slight change, which just, she just asked me to add, a date into it that was sent to you. That was included in my email to all of you when I sent the conditional use, resolution. Do you want me to read the conditional resolution? And then you guys could decide which version you would.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Resolution authorizing the Airport Authority to construct a new T hangar at the Geauga County Airport and to conditionally approve an appropriation of $800,000 from the general fund to the Airport Construction Fund for the purpose of contributing toward the construction and improvements at the airport in accordance with ORC 308.17. Whereas the Geauga County Board of Commissioners formed the Geauga County Airport Authority in Resolution 92-105 in accordance with the Ohio Revised Code Section 308.03. Whereas ORC Section 308.17 permits a Board of County Commissioners of a county included within a regional airport authority to appropriate monies from the general fund of the county if permitted in the resolution creating the airport authority. Whereas Resolution 92-105 provided in part that the commissioners may, in their direction, provide financial support to the Geauga County Airport Authority. Whereas the commissioners and the authority entered an agreement entitled Co-Sponsorship and Lease Agreement between the Geauga County Board of Commissioners and the Geauga County Airport Authority Board of Trustees dated March 5th, 2018, and an addendum thereto dated December 29th, 2022, collectively the agreement. That was the change. Whereas the authority is contractually obligated inter alia to repair and maintain the facilities of the Geauga County Airport. Whereas the commissioners approve a conditional appropriation of $800,000 from the general fund to the airport construction fund, subject to the terms and conditions herein, which will be in addition to and dependent upon receipt of a minimum of $586,000 of FAA infrastructure grant monies by the commissioners and the authority, which grant monies will be used to fund the construction of a new T hangar at the Geauga County Airport. Whereas the authority may request, following the construction of the new T hangar, to utilize remaining funds from the $800,000 appropriation and hangar lease revenue towards other improvements at the airport. Whereas no county funds shall be dispersed under this resolution unless prior to disbursement, the authority certifies, subject to the commissioner's approval, the following to ensure accountability and transparency. 1, the authority shall provide quarterly reporting to the commissioners for 3 years following completion of the T hangar, including copies of leases and other relevant documents, occupancy rates, rental income, and operational costs. 2, the authority affirms that it has complied and will continue to comply with all of the terms of the agreement. 3, the authority shall not authorize any salary increase for authority staff that exceeds the annual percentage increase authorized by the commissioners unless explicitly approved by the commissioners. 4, these funds shall become a loan with a 20-year term at an interest rate of 2% compounded annually if any of these conditions are violated. Determination of noncompliance shall rest with the commissioners in a sole reasonable discretion based on documentation provided by the authority or other relevant evidence. And 5, in the event of material misrepresentation, misuse of funds, fraud, or any indicia of noncompliance as determined by the commissioners in their sole discretion, the commissioners may require immediate repayment of all funds dispersed under this resolution with interest accruing from the date of disbursement. Now therefore be it resolved that the Geauga County Board of Commissioners authorize the airport authority to construct a new T hangar at the Geauga County Airport and conditionally approve an appropriation of $800,000 from the general fund to the airport construction fund for the purpose of contributing towards the construction and improvements at the airport in accordance with ORC 308.17. Be it further resolved that this resolution becomes part of the permanent record of the Board of County Commissioners.
Can I respond to that? Sure. There's several items in there that we did not understand or know were coming. The payback clause, penalty clause, quarterly reports, that's stuff that we didn't expect. And we're up against the wall. If it doesn't get done next week, we're out of money. The county loses money. I mean, we have someone.
Chip, was there some comment relative to salary? I thought I heard that was kind of a speed reading exercise there.
Yes. Well, I'm about speed reading, but it was a lot. Number 3 was the authority shall not authorize any salary increase for authority staff that exceeds the annual percentage increase authorized by the commissioners unless explicitly approved by the commissioners.
What does that have to do?
Yeah, where'd that come from?
Well, the issue seems to be that you want to increase your revenue, right? Is that the justification for this hangar project?
Yes.
Okay, so, one way to have better cash flow would be to increase revenue. Of course, I think you should increase your hangar rents. That would not cost taxpayers anything, and that would also increase your revenue. But, your solution is to build this hangar so you have more revenue. But another problem, of course, is that your costs are exceeding because due to extreme sort of increases in salary expenses over 3 years, I think it went up 51%. So this is a way to cap your cost a little.
Who's running the airport? The airport authority or the county commissioners?
Well, we're giving you money. I mean, are you going to be a choosy beggar or are you going to take the money?
A choosy beggar.
Yeah.
Give me a second to think about that. That's rude. That is very rude. You're talking to a bunch of volunteers that try and run an airport that's in the black.
You called
us rude?
You're asking for money.
You're right. You're right.
And you have not filed the process to ask for money that everyone else that comes before us does.
Can I go through last week? You said that there was no documentation submitted for this project. Can I go through the history of this project? In 2013, our master plan was approved with our airport layout plan. Those documents were submitted again last week. Commissioner Brake, did you receive them?
A 2013 plan?
Correct.
Not that I recall.
Did you receive a package last week?
I received, let me see, I got this, this is dated December 2024.
We asked that our consultant send you a package.
I had blueprints.
There was 4 sets that were received on Friday.
All right.
That was
Um,
but they were blueprints,
there was
right? of-
two.
That is our airport layout plan. So
And
can I
then-
finish the
And then-
history of this,
I mean,
please?
and then I have this. I don't have anything. You said it was dated 2013. I don't have anything dated 13.
That's what we submitted last week. That's what we submitted to you last week. And it's been in this office since 2013 because you are co-sponsors of the airport. This project has been on our books since then. 3 or 4 years ago, the federal government started the bipartisan infrastructure law, where the FAA told us that we could fund hangars with this funding, which we couldn't use FAA money for hangars before that. We waited 3 years. It's informed the county commissioners that we would like to use that money with some help from the commissioners to build a second T hangar. On July 18th to 24, we sent a letter to the county requesting funding, explaining the FAA, showing what the FAA would approve for us. After that letter, we had meetings with every county commissioner, the county administrator. Adrian was involved with a couple of the phone calls, talking about the funding, how much, budgets, estimates, and everything. The county commissioner's office knew about this project. In September, we met with Jerry, and a month later, the bid specs and plans for this project were reviewed and approved by the commissioner's office. You knew about this project in September. Jerry drafted an agreement that was submitted to us. We reviewed it, our attorney reviewed it, went back to the county commissioners of how the funding would work. During that process, we have been asking for capital improvement funding for 5 years, 10 years to fix roofs, fix the UH living quarters, fix doors. It was decided that we would include this into one big project where the commissioners would front the 1.33. We build our building. When the FAA money came in, we would do our improvements, capital improvements to the county's property. On December 17th, the commissioners approved $1.33 million. Unanimous vote. And an agreement was reviewed, but for some reason, it never got off the ground. It got stalled somewhere in the world. On February 4th, the commissioners voted not to fund it, to rescind the 1.33, even though we had put in motion engineering, architecture, grant approvals, all the paperwork.
We rescinded the motion, just to be clear.
You took the money back.
There was no money. That we rescinded the motion.
The money was allocated to us.
We
moved
believe that was the
forward
motion.
based upon that action. We have a letter that says so. On the 6th of February, we met with Mr. Dvorak, and we worked out a way to fund or continue funding to build a T hangar. At that time, we tossed around the amounts. Jim came up with the $800,000, which that coupled with the federal funding, we would fund our project. There was a new agreement drafted on February 7th. I believe Linda did that. That was sent to us. It was back to you the next day. And that agreement has never been acted on. That agreement is in the county at the commissioner's office.
Well,
With the prosecutor.
we never got it back from the
But
prosecutor.
that's not our fault.
Well,
You
it's
think,
kind of not our fault either,
why not?
because the prosecutor had the agreement and did not return it. I can ping him once a week and then I get it back or I don't get it back. They never got it back.
It's a one-page document. A one-page document that wasn't agreed to. Wasn't reviewed, excuse me. On February 13th, we met with you and Linda. We talked about everything. We submitted information about the project. We talked about the airport. We gave you overall big picture macro information.
And
We
you
also
didn't
talked,
you didn't give me any information about the project at that time. We had a macro discussion about the airport, but
there was discussion about the T hangar project. On the 14th, we sent the agreement back to the county. They went back to the prosecutor on that date. And we were told on the 26th of February that the prosecutor's review was almost done. It still has not been done. On March 7th, we sent copies of all plans, specs, grant applications, everything to the county.
And that's
Too late.
true. And last week I said I didn't remember receiving it.
Right.
And I apologize.
But you called us on the carpet for never submitting anything. You said you never received anything. You said you never received anything. And you said, Ned said
I
you
didn't.
never received anything.
I said,
What?
I didn't remember receiving it and I apologize. I did not.
Okay, all right. Well, that's, I mean, on the 10th, we sent more grant information. So I've spent a couple hours, went back through my emails. I have over 50 emails talking about this project for the last year with everybody's
all the people I've mentioned listed in some fashion in those discussions. To say that we never submitted anything to the county last week on April 1st, to say that is not true.
Okay, Mr.
Not true.
Ms. Blair, can you talk generally, when someone puts something before us to approve, how does that process typically work? Do you dig through your emails to see if 2 months ago you received something from somebody, or generally do they make the request for whatever they want and they include as an attachment whatever documents they want the commissioners to review? So could you talk about that briefly?
The request process is 1 week prior to the requested meeting date. The request for action needs to be submitted with all documentation in support of the project to the board for review. The tentative agenda is created based on those requests. If they are sent electronically, they are required to be backed up with a hard copy to the office, for the simple fact that, as we know, I have a lot of paper in my office. We do have a designated session area. However, if for some reason I am not here and somebody has to fill in for the clerk, they are not going to go into my email and go looking for a request for action because they don't have access to my email. Obviously, that's a ADP thing that, not everybody has access to everybody else's email. That's just how it goes. So if a request is sent to me in an email, it has to be backed up with hard copy to follow up to make sure that it is logged and it is in the proper process for session. To clarify, the March 7th email that you are referencing was sent specifically to Mr. Dvorak and to Ms. Berhenny. It did not go to anybody else in our office. So when I made the comment that I personally did not receive documentation regarding the T-Hanger project, I was correct. Mr. Blamer sent it while we were in session to me and said that this was sent on March 7th. And I went down through it and I said, yes, it was sent to Mr. Dvorak and Ms. Berhenny. It was not sent to me. It was not sent to the other 2 commissioners. If I do not receive an email, I can't forward it on to the board.
We've been
In my
told multiple times by the county commissioners that we are to communicate with the county administrator, back when Jerry was here, and also with Linda, as far as information. That's what we've been told.
I mean, if you want something on the agenda, it needs to go through Ms. Blair. That's how it works for every other department that wants money.
The comment last week was that you received no information.
That's because I really hadn't received anything.
Okay, are you a CEO of a company?
Am I a what?
A CEO of a company?
Do
you have staff? If someone tells one of your staff something, and then you go say, well, I don't know about that?
I think we're getting off track here.
No, we're not.
Sir, do you want money or do you not want money?
I'm taking this personally. Because you accused us of not doing anything. It's not true.
You're being very disrespectful for someone that is asking us for money that we don't contractually owe you.
Was there anything that she read of those conditions that were added, things that you don't think you guys can meet?
At this point, Linda, I mean, for us not to have time to sit down and read it.
I agree with you. We got it this morning.
Well, you got read again, the prosecutor.
I hadn't even seen it.
I mean, this has been a week for a 1-page document. And to expect us to look at, to have Christie read it and expect us to accept it, we're probably going to have to. But that's just disrespectful. We wouldn't expect that of you folks. You require a 7-day notice to have something read and approved.
I just received it yesterday. And
No, but
I got it,
and
I sent it
you're
to the
not
prosecutor's
approving it.
office.
It's a resolution. We are the ones that need to approve it.
It affects us.
It
affects us. It affects its
listen,
terms.
when you get money from the FAA, you have terms and conditions that you have to play. I have no doubt that probably those terms are about this thick, right? And you sign it because you want the money. And all we put in this was essentially boilerplate into this resolution that puts some protection on taxpayers. And I don't understand why you are unwilling to do that.
Because one of the comments was that you're restricting what we can do with our employees.
Well,
how we can reward our employees.
You've rewarded your employees handsomely.
Because they've done a great job.
All the requirement is that you come before the commissioners, and that if you want to go before what we approve as a blanket increase for our staff, you need to ask permission for it. I mean, in the contract, you're supposed to ask before you apply for a grant. I don't think you're doing that right now, are you? Did you ask permission to apply for this
For
FAA grant?
clarification, the pre-application for this T hangar did not go through public session. It was not approved in public session.
And
Last September was the parallel taxiway stuff. It was not related to the T hangars. Because I went back and looked just for clarification.
Okay. Step by step, this council has delayed this project in a very, very artful fashion. This latest surprise is a prosecutor who will not respond to a one-page agreement for months. All of a sudden at the 11:59, I'm not blaming you.
I've never even seen that one.
I'm not blaming you, but it is such an artful way to delay a project. You have my total respect for your artful delay of these communications. Let's go through the points that just got added at the 11th hour. Let's review them right now. No, read them off to us since we don't have a
Maybe
copy of
not
it.
quite so fast.
So before we go even at that point, my conversation with Linda yesterday was that there were supposed to be 2 resolutions.
There's a very simple one.
So I'd like to read the simple one too, if we could read that one.
This resolution, for clarification, I took language from the resolution that was done in 23 that approved the $20,000 appropriation to the airport authority. And I took language from the prosecutor's office that was done for the agricultural society's appropriation for the new poultry barn and sale barn. And I melded that together and sent it to the board for comments. And that's how I got the conditions resolution.
So you
back.
wrote the terms and conditions?
I did not write the terms and conditions. I received that back from a board member. And then those were sent to all of them for their review and asked respectively to submit individual comments to me. I sent it to Laura for review before it got presented to the board. And she made one slight adjustment based on the fact that in the conditional resolution, it included the lease agreement date. And I wanted to make sure that the addendum was also included as well. So the one that I originally submitted to the board was resolution authorizing the airport authority to construct a new T hangar at the Geauga County Airport Authority.
Just the new T's and C's, please.
They're not in there. This is the original.
This is the simple
resolution.
one.
This is
Okay.
the simple one that Commissioner Spitaleri asked me to read.
Could you slow down a little, please?
Yes.
Don't talk to our staff that way, man.
Resolution authorizing the airport authority to construct a new T hangar at the Geauga County Airport and to approve an appropriation of $800,000 from the general fund to the airport construction fund for the purpose of contributing towards the construction and improvements at the airport in accordance with ORC 308.17. Geauga County Board of Commissioners formed the Geauga County Airport Authority in Resolution 92105 in accordance with Ohio Revised Code Section 308.03. ORC Section 308.17 permits a Board of County Commissioners of a county included within a regional airport authority to appropriate monies from the general fund of the county if permitted in the resolution creating the airport authority. Resolution 92105 provided in part that the Board of County Commissioners may, in their discretion, provide financial support to the Geauga County Airport Authority. Whereas the Geauga County Board of Commissioners approves an appropriation of $800,000 from the general fund to the airport construction fund that, in addition to $586,000 of FAA infrastructure grant, will fund the construction of a new T hangar and improvements at the Geauga County Airport. Whereas the airport authority is authorized following the construction of the new T hangar to utilize remaining funds from the $800,000 appropriation and hangar lease revenue towards other improvements at the airport. Now therefore be it resolved that the Geauga County Board of Commissioners authorize the airport authority to construct a new T hangar at the Geauga County Airport and approve an appropriation of $800,000 from the general fund to the airport construction fund for the purpose of contributing towards the construction and improvements at the airport in accordance with ORC 308.17. So it took your motion from session last week, those two resolutions together to create the simple resolution that went to the board.
So can I make a motion on that, move on that second resolution?
I'll make a motion to amend Mr. Spirelli's motion to include the revised resolution.
We have 2 motions on the floor. But at
Well, we
this,
have to vote on whether we'll revise Mr. Spitadelli's motion first. And then we would vote on either the amended motion or the revised motion. So is there, you have to ask for a second to revise my motion, or to revise a second for my motion to revise Mr. Spitadelli's motion.
I think I'd like to discuss a little bit before we go any further.
There's a motion on the table, Jim.
So right now we can discuss whether we should revise Commissioner Spitadelli's motion. That's what we can discuss.
I second that.
Clarifying for me what you mean by that?
Okay, so the motion was to, Mr. Spitadelli's motion was to approve the simple resolution for funding. My motion is to revise, to amend his motion to, instead of doing the simple resolution, to do the motion that protects the taxpayer. So that's my motion. I'm revising his motion, essentially amending his motion.
So we have to move on
So we
your resolution first.
yeah, so we would need a second on that, and then we would need to vote on whether the motion is amended or not. And then we would have to actually vote on the motion itself, the meat of the motion.
I would, just to keep this moving along, I second your motion to
revise.
to revise.
To revise
For
Commissioner
amend,
Spitadelli's
yeah.
motion to amend it to be the conditioned resolution. Okay,
No discussion.
okay.
Yes, correct.
I read everything real quick yesterday, and I didn't realize that it was about compensation. I think most of the checks and balances are doable. The quarterly report, different things like that. I trust you guys that there is going to be a T hangar built. Trusting you guys for years and years about handling the money. That's great. But I think that the hang up was with the compensation, that you guys run the day-to-day airport, just like the fair board runs the fairgrounds, the day-to-day operation. And would you guys be okay with just all the conditions except the compensation?
We need to read the new one.
Could you repeat those?
Yeah,
So-
we need to read this.
No, the compensation is a clear overreach of our duties and your duties. We're volunteers that manage this enterprise.
But you agree, you gave your airport manager a 51% raise for the process of.
That's a misrepresentation. We brought him in exceptionally low in terms of his hourly wage. We quickly recognized the value that he added to the airport and to the community. It was rather unanimous in terms of all the tenants. And we approved a reasonable raise for a part-time worker. You know, we made a mistake that we brought him in too low. It was our mistake. We fixed that.
And just like we've done in different departments where we try to get the value of, the wages to match the value of that person in any department that we have. So go ahead and continue with all the conditions.
So number one, it says the authority shall provide quarterly reporting to the commissioners for 3 years following completion of the T hangar, including copies of leases and other relevant documents, occupancy rates, rental income, and operational costs.
Yeah, we can do that.
Number two, the authority affirms that it has complied and will continue to comply with all the terms of the agreement. So that would be the lease agreement and the First Amendment.
First Amendment being, I'm sorry.
That was the amendment that was done to the lease agreement that was approved December 29th of 2022 to the airport lease agreement. Number three is the authority shall not authorize any salary increase for authority staff that exceeds the annual percentage increase authorized by the commissioners unless explicitly approved by the commissioners. So that is the one that appears to be the sticking point at this point. Number four, these funds shall become a loan with a 20-year term at an interest rate of 2% compounded annually if any of these conditions are violated. Determination of noncompliance shall rest with the commissioners in its sole reasonable discretion based on documentation provided by the authority or other relevant evidence.
That's too open-ended. Because as we talked about, is that if we have money left over, we can use it to fix roofs, fix doors. It says nothing about that. It just says that it's a loan.
No, it says if you don't comply by the terms, then it becomes a loan.
Right, but that issue has never been discussed before. That's brand new to this morning. Right.
Well, what do you think the issue should be if you do not comply with these terms? What do you think?
But we have to put in
The
a pay request. We have to
consequences.
put in a pay request to the county commissioner's office to receive the funds to pay our contractors. You have control to say yes or no. Isn't that?
Adrian, doesn't it move to their thing or are we paying the bills?
The thought pattern initially was in order to simplify the process. Once the project was underway, we would do an encumbrance and expenditure for the full $800,000 and just
They would be paying
transfer
your
that
bills.
to them
Yes.
and let them manage.
Okay.
the money.
That's a little different
Because
than
you've
we.
already gone out to bid and you received your bids.
Yes.
And so contractually, it would be your contract.
Okay.
It would not be the county.
Okay.
So therefore, this is a fail-safe basically to
But it's
ensure that the project is moving along.
I'm just trying to wrap my head around it.
Fail-safe may not be the word to use. So you're handling the project and you're handling the payment.
Just like what the fairgrounds is doing.
Right.
Yeah.
Correct. So it would just be an.
But it goes
For
to the,
example, would you audit the fairgrounds to make sure that they're spending the money correctly?
I wasn't involved in that. I would have had a
No,
different
that's the question
resolution.
is.
So I mean,
Well,
Involved.
The difference with the.
Who's getting audited? Yeah, we'd love to be audited. I mean,
One more difference with the
We'd love to
Agricultural
audit you.
Society. The Agricultural Society, in accordance with the ORC, is required now to provide a bond to the auditor's office in twice the amount of what the project cost is. So they have filed an approved bond with the auditor's office for $1.5 million. For the $750,000 that the commissioners.
To ensure that
provided
they
them.
they
To
spend
ensure
money
that the
correctly.
expenditure is done and handled correctly.
how
And at the
how would they
completion of
guarantee
that
that?
project. What do you mean?
How would they guarantee that bond?
they don't own anything.
To an insurance company.
It was
Yeah, if they don't own anything, that's collateral.
So we're using county money to write a bond against ourselves?
No, the Agricultural Society has their own funding.
Okay, we're a county function.
I guess my concern there is it sounds very subjective as to meeting the terms of the agreement. But as far as spending the funding.
Well, we're learning a lot today because Adrian just explained how the process with the dollars.
Right, but if we don't spend $800,000 into your satisfaction, suddenly we have a loan and we have to pay back.
Well, just as long as they follow the conditions of the quarterly reports and whatever.
But I understand,
Uh,
understand.
I,
Specific to those, nothing else? Because you said sole discretion of the commissioners.
Mhm.
Do we say no on a whim, or who defends us if you decide to pull the funding?
well, we won't pull the funding on this project.
That's what you said in December, Jim.
We're too far down the
All right.
road for this.
All right, Christie, I'm sorry, do we have more?
There's one. Sorry. 5, in the event of material misrepresentation, misuse of funds, fraud, or any other indicia of noncompliance as determined by the commissioners in their sole discretion, the commissioners may require immediate repayment of all funds disbursed under this resolution with interest accruing from the date of disbursement.
That's some choice of words there that have been brought up before at the county commissioners meetings, especially the word fraud. Does somebody have grounds to accuse us of that or to bring that term up? Being an attorney, you got to know what that means.
This is standard boilerplate.
But it's been mentioned in staff, in chambers where fraud was brought up.
Who brought up fraud?
You did.
Wait, how did I bring it up?
I have no idea, but you used the word. Use the word in during.
Fraud.
How did I imply fraud?
It's exactly, you stated it right from where you're sitting.
Right,
In session, I said.
you did, you did.
What-
February 4th.
So how did I say that?
Use the word. That's enough.
Okay.
You used the word.
Regarding what, the airport?
That's correct.
Okay.
That's correct. And that's, I mean, again, we're trying to
I
do a
mean, I
good
think
job
there's,
here.
there's
And
potential conflicts of interest. I think there's some self-dealing going on. I don't necessarily think there's
so now
fraud.
you're throwing out accusations without any background.
I mean, I think there's self-dealing because, some of your board members own planes at the airport and you set the rate for those hangar spaces. And then you tell me you have a list of 32 people and I say you should increase the rates and you say no, and you've got your own board members with hangars. So I mean, to me, that's self-dealing.
Okay, when we set rates for hangars, we don't vote if we have an airplane.
Okay, but I mean, you still set
We're
a board. You're
so
sitting next to
squeaky
your friend.
clean about this enterprise. We would not compromise the county 1 ounce.
Mhm.
And you're using the word now self-dealing, you're using the words fraud. Why is that
I
necessary?
mean, I don't recall using the words fraud. I'm using the words here because this is like standard way to talk. in
Does
an
it have to
agreement.
be, we don't
But-
need to be standard, do we? We
Well-
don't need that there. We
No,
agree,
you don't,
we
you
agree.
don't want anything. It's very clear you want no strings attached to this money. You want to spend it however you want to.
That's not true.
And you're treating like this board's role as some sort of nuisance for you. And it's not. We have a duty to the taxpayers and the people of this county. And it's not a nuisance. It's my duty. Listen.
Let's try to get through this. Is there anything else? Was that the last,
That was all that was in there.
I think we can work with everything but the compensation. What do you guys think?
Still troubled by the wording on the last terms and conditions.
I mean, that's really
Where
gotta
where do
go.
we plan on fully
Oh,
complying
yeah.
with quarterly reports or whatever you wish? That's really straightforward. But are you commissioners comfortable with those terms and conditions that last?
Well, there's a motion on the floor to approve them, so that's when they'll let you know if they're comfortable with it or not, when they vote.
Okay.
So currently, the first vote that would have to be taken would be to approve the amended motion from Commissioner Spitaleri to be the conditioned resolution.
I think we have to vote whether to amend the.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay, so it's not
There was a motion
approving it,
from
yes.
Commissioner Spitaleri to approve the civil resolution. And then there was a motion made by Commissioner Brackey to amend to revise Commissioner Spitaleri's motion to be the condition resolution. And that was seconded by Commissioner Dvorak.
Okay.
So, Commissioner Spitaleri,
So
Are
clarify
you-
what I'm voting on.
you are approving to amend your original resolution to be the condition resolution.
No.
Commissioner Brackey.
Yes.
Commissioner Dvorak.
If we scratch the compensation section,
That's another amendment.
Yes, that's correct.
You're amending her motion if you're changing what you're voting on.
well, at this time, I'd like to amend the motion.
We've got a motion in progress. You got to vote.
So just vote no at this point,
I vote no at this point.
if that's how you feel.
Yep.
Okay. Okay.
So now I make a motion.
Well, but his motion's on the floor then,
No,
unamended.
It
isn't
died.
there was no second on Commissioner Spitaleri's motion to approve the simple resolution. There was a motion made by Commissioner Brackey to amend to revise the motion to be the condition resolution, seconded by Commissioner Dvorak. Commissioner Spitaleri and Commissioner Dvorak voted no, Commissioner Brackey voted yes. So right now,
We're square one.
we are back to square one. So it would be to start over with a fresh
I
motion.
make a motion for the conditional resolution, scratching the compensation, which is item number 3. I wrote it down. And that's my motion to approve it that way, by eliminating item number 3 on the compensation.
I'll second that. And I'll ask you, gentlemen, what are you planning to grant as salary increases this year?
Yeah, we did
It
4%.
was 4% was the
Like last
item
month.
increase. We did that, January or February.
It's been within the last month or so.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's exactly what the planning commission gave our new our director, not new, but Lynn Crombie was 4%.
Yeah, I mean,
Just about
that's within a
2 weeks
safe
ago.
range.
We have a compensation committee. We have formal reviews for the airport manager. Those are approved by the board. We deliver the message and we deliver the results, which is the 4% increase.
Motion made.
I'll call the question.
Okay. Commissioner Spitaleri,
So I'm not voting no to not support the airport. I'm voting no based on all of the that resolution. That I think that it should have been pretty much straightforward like we had spoke last in 2024. So my vote is no.
Commissioner Brackey.
Yes.
Commissioner DeBoer.
Yes.
Okay, so I am going to. So number 3 is the authority shown.
Do you guys have a printed copy of that motion?
Christie does.
Okay, because I feel like they ought to give it to, so I can see what the date is.
I mean, we can, I'm sure she can
Should we
email it
initial that?
afterwards too.
Line
Yes, this is the resolution that was prepared. So I'm crossing out number 3, per the motion that was approved. So that will be removing that section, and I'm going to ask that the board initial that change.
May we see that just briefly?
Sure. I'm going to do the same thing on the other 2 counties. This is the one that I was reading off of. So this is just removing number 3 as the board, which is regarding salary increase.
Yeah. Can you review what was voted on and what was approved, please, so we can all hear it back here? Where, did you approve $800,000 for the year?
Yes.
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 So the resolution was approved by a 2-to-1 vote with the removal of the number 3 condition, which was regarding the salary increase. But it did provide the $800,000 funding.
And that will be going into your construction account and you would be managing that. It wouldn't, the bills would not be being paid from the commissioner's office.
So
then we'll arrange those quarterly meetings, so you'll be able to come and present to the board what you're doing, and I can work with you on that.
Thank you.
Okay.
So for clarification, Ralph, on this section here, when you do your initials, put no next to it.
Okay.
And then your vote is included on the resolution.
Okay.
So you will sign it and then put your vote accordingly.
While they're doing that, is we did take bids yesterday. They were slightly under our estimate. We are working on the grant application at this moment. As soon as we have it done from our consultants, it will be delivered to the county commissioner's office. And we will need, we don't need approval or review, we just need acknowledgement.
Well, you do need to ask our permission for it though. before you approve.
You are getting a request today while we're here. To be on session next Tuesday.
Okay, so, and you'll ask us.
We don't need
for
permission, we just need an acknowledgement.
No, you do need permission per the terms of our agreement, sir.
The FAA requires your acknowledgement.
No, the agreement you signed with the commissioners requires you to ask for permission
All right.
before you apply.
We're gonna ask for permission next
Okay,
Tuesday
Thank you.
to get the grant approved, because if it's not done next Tuesday, we will lose money for county facility.
Okay, we moving on?
Thank you. You need us to acknowledge that?
No, this is just a resolution. You don't sign this.
Chrissy, didn't you say we'd initial it?
No, they have to
Oh,
initially
I'm sorry.
change an actual
Okay.
resolution.
We have 3 original copies.
Okay.
And then when it goes into the actual journal, that will be lined out as you are seeing it when it goes into the journal,
And we-
so that it was removed.
We would
And then You will receive a signed copy. That's why there was 3 being done today.
we would
So you-
respectfully ask that terms and words be used for us. You be careful what you say about us. Again, we're a bunch of volunteers. And use the word fraud attacks us personally.
I don't recall using that.
Okay.
I don't know how, what context I used it in, and you can't tell me that. So I don't know. I don't know what I said, but I mean, I have concerns about how the.
If you have
airport's
proof,
managed.
please show it to us and we'll take care of it.
Okay.
But until that time, please don't use words like that.
Okay, well,
Because
give me the quote.
you said it
February 4th meeting, documented.
about 1 hour and 45 minutes into the meeting. I mean, you said it.
What did I say?
We bid this for pretty much.
Watch the video.
Yes.
Guys, we got your money.
You got, sit down.
It's bigger than that, Linda.
I understand.
But thanks for.
I apologize. It was kind of helter-skelter here today.
Okay.
I didn't even see it myself before we got
All right.
here, so. But I'll be working with you guys and we'll work to follow all the requirements of the agreement and get you guys going, okay?
Item number 26.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, good. I appreciate that. Good morning.
Good morning.
Kathy Hostetler. I work for you, Commissioner's Office, and I'm here about Public Service Recognition Week. We do this annually. We ask for this approval. This has been going on since May of 1985. Nationally, we're recognized, so we're asking you to approve this.
We're trying to have a meeting here, so Mrs. Jones, if you have questions for these gentlemen, can you take it out in the hallway?
She can't hear you.
Somebody tackle her.
Miss Jones.
Thank you.
Or go to the hallway. That's fine. You can keep talking.
Okay.
It's not here.
Go ahead.
Can we do this again? Okay, I'm asking for approval for Public Service Recognition Week. It's it's the first full week in May every year, been going on since 1985. It's a good week. Nationally, we are looked at a public service in recognition for that. It's May 4th through May 10th, and asking you to approve this resolution for this year.
And is this the amended one I sent? Okay, great. I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Commissioner Spudler.
Aye.
Commissioner Brady.
Aye.
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you for your service.
Item 27, the Commissioner's Office is requesting the board approve a merit increase for Deborah Ashburn, Senior Fiscal Specialist, to the rate of $29.13 per hour, grade 12, step 4, to be effective April 13th, 2025.
I'll make a motion to approve 27.
Second.
Commissioner Spudler.
Aye.
Commissioner Brady.
Aye.
Commissioner Moore.
Yes.
Item number 28, the Commissioner's Office is requesting the board amend the motion from March 18th, 2025 to revise the start date to read approve hiring and appointment of Amy B. Van to the position of County Administrator number 1301 to be effective May 5th at the rate of $60.46 per hour, grade E19, step 9.
And just to clarify, that's just pushing back her start
Yes,
time.
it's just pushing it.
And you're okay with that, right, Linda?
Yes.
I mean, not to give a lot of options. I'll make a motion to approve 28.
Second.
Commissioner Spudler.
Aye.
Commissioner Brady.
Aye.
Commissioner Moore.
Yes.
We're at the board discussion position now on the agenda, and I received a request from one of the commissioners to have an open discussion about how we're feeling about the changes that were made to public comment at the beginning of the year, using a timed approach and making people stop speaking. And I just want to hear from you how you feel like that's going. Do you want to make any adjustments? Are you happy with it? Do you want to do it in a different way?
I want to get rid of that clock because it's real annoying to listen to over here.
Just talking.
Bang.
I mean, we need to have some sort of cutoff point though, because I mean, we need to, this meeting's like, this is a long meeting. So I do think we need to have a time limit. The way we did it in the Board of Health, this isn't going to work for you, Linda, but somebody would have an iPad and then it would project to the screen behind so you could see as it was going down.
Do you want us to attempt to set something like
So,
that up? Because
yeah.
we can.
Yeah, I mean,
Sure.
there might be a way to have a more digital solution where people can see that their time is running up as well.
One of these screens that are behind us so the audience can see.
You'd have to
their
get them
time.
working first, so that would be the problem.
We'll
with that.
I can turn them on.
If possible.
Basically, you
Frank's
want a
laughing
visible-
back there.
A visible solution. Are you sure that 2 minutes is enough? Do you
I
want,
think that 2 minutes is enough for a good discussion.
do you want to amend the policy? Do you want to make a suggestion as to what you think would be a better amount of time?
Well, I'm comfortable with 3 minutes max.
And you want a visible thing?
Visible
where people can see their time?
Yes.
Okay.
And then when they see 2:58, they go, and in closing, and then they post it out, you know.
And then they stop.
We probably need a motion to amend the policy.
Well, I just want to make sure too that you are also in agreement about the public comment period not exceeding 20 minutes unless made by a motion to extend. We've come close to, we've actually exceeded that at one of the meetings. So I just want to make sure that that 20-minute time period is still sufficient for you before you decide to make an amendment to the.
Yeah, I mean, I still think that's a good one because we can still vote to extend, but I mean, we do need to conduct business in an efficient manner. And so I think we need to have some guardrails on our public comment. I'm fine with the 3 minutes, but maybe what we can do is amend the policy and then put that on the agenda for next week.
Okay.
That'll give me some time to work with people who are less like a Neanderthal than me. And
I said it was less than that.
We'll find a solution for that.
I mean, I like your little clock, but I don't hear the ticking over here, so.
Okay.
Anything else? Kristen?
No.
Anything else, Linda?
I have nothing further.
We'll
The
go
only
in.
other item on the general discussion that I wanted to do was just a couple things. I've had a couple of questions regarding, you know, the videos being on ADP's web, YouTube page. I think that, you know, we need to have our own
Yeah, so
page.
do you know the backstory with that?
No.
Okay, so apparently Dave Lair set up the commissioner's YouTube page, and I reached out to him and tried to get control of that in some ways, get the credentials,
Right.
and he didn't seem to have that anymore. So that's why they've been going to ADP's.
Right, because I think that we got to
page.
figure out how to get that changed, because people have asked us that. And then just as far as the other question I've had, some of the people attending these meetings is, you know, what kind of a cost are we running into with, you know, the filming of these videos? I see, you know, from the ADP board back there, there's like 1, 2, 3 people for a video. And I don't, you know, I guess, you know, the question has come up is, what's the per hourly rate that we're running to be running a video compared to, we've got a camera here. And I think you've even mentioned that we've got, this was put in place so that we don't have to have a payroll of 3 people for multiple hours to pay for video.
It's my understanding that these cameras were put in specifically to allow for live streaming.
Right.
But there may be some missing software because at the time that this building was built, you guys did not want to do that. And I don't know where you are on that. Do you want to speak to that, Frank? I know you guys were kind of working on trying to smooth things out with that. How is that coming?
We are still working through that process. We were able to get some specific press-drawn text on site and did determine that there's actually missing hardware that was never installed to live stream with the cameras up there. We determined the configuration wasn't done correctly to do that, and we're looking at rebuilding some of the infrastructure there.
Okay, and based on the email you sent today indicating that you need to pivot towards support for Board of Elections as your highest priority, we probably can't expect to have any motion on that until probably early summer.
So when I had discussed this at the beginning of the year with the board, I believe I had said that we'd have a solution in place by July. We're on that time frame still.
Understood.
We have the temporary solution in place until that point, and then we will have that solution hopefully in place at that point.
Thank you. Did you have any more questions about that?
Just basically, you know, the question has come up multiple times from different people of what, you know, what is it costing us to be filming these meetings? I don't know. I mean,
I don't know that we've been billed for it in any sense.
I understand that, but it's, if there's people here, they're probably not doing other things that they would be normally doing, right?
Correct.
So I'm just saying is how, what is it costing us? And that's, you know, just a simple question. I don't know if you know, ADP knows what that's, what that number is. If we looked at it of how much time it's taken to do this, or not. No answer.
Is that a question to me?
Yeah, well, to whoever,
Yeah,
whoever
so-
wants to answer it, I guess.
I mean, I was here because I was on the agenda today. We have an intern student who's learning how to do the process with someone training him. I manage my people, and our organization, and we believe that with the public engagement we've been getting on YouTube here, at least 150 to 200 views per week. We're providing really good quality product that gives the public the opportunity to engage the BOCC, and I've only heard positives about it. Seems like a good initiative to do it.
And I think that, you know, just listening to the employees, I think that the majority of that viewership is probably employees of this county that are really watching this. And I think that we had that conversation, Linda, that you've heard it from so many people that,
I'm aware there are a lot of employees that are enjoying actually being able to see the streaming because that lets them know what's going on.
right. And I, you know, so it's just, I guess, you know, I look at it in two ways, is that it, you know, is it taking a lot of our other, you know, time away? I'm hoping that, you know, in some of these departments, it's not a situation that's basically taking a 2 or 3 hour period a day on Tuesdays of employees working to sit there and watch videos.
I suspect people are not just sitting there and not working and looking at the video. I think they're working and they're doing other stuff and they have in the background. I mean, some people listen to a podcast and they work. Some people listen to music. Christy likes to listen to the police scanners. She works.
That's white noise for me, sorry.
So I suspect people have it in the background if they have something interesting. You know, maybe their department's on the agenda. They want to see how that goes, but.
Right. So, you know, with 150 views, I don't think that we're, you know, going to be at the YouTube's top 100 channels, but maybe we'll get there one day. The other thing I wanted to talk about was, I think that we need to try to, as a board, put together a letter of support for retaining the CEI office that's in Middlefield, that we're in the process of losing to, that they were consolidating that to Concord Township. I think that that's a big loss for Geauga County based on the fact that, you know, where it's headquartered right now is in Middlefield, next to where the Tractor Supply would be there, Giant Eagle, and their ability to respond, you know, to Geauga County is very much, you know, a big thing where we would then be dependent upon Concord Township in Lake County to be, you know, getting the services and dispatching trucks out of there to come to Geauga County. So, you know, just the amount of time of travel, you know, if they had to go from, you know, from Middlefield to say Bainbridge or Middlefield to Chesterland or, you know, wherever they're located at, you know, in that area. And with Middlefield, with the amount of, you know, factories that are there, also that, you know, would require, you know, some, you know, ability of getting some attention fast. And I know that there have been some situations in the past where their response time is really, really good, that we would lose that if I feel that our response time would go down if we're looking at that over into Concord Township. So I'd ask the board if we can, you know, to generate a letter. And I know that we have a new representative now that is replacing Dean. And that if we could get him a letter of support that he could possibly run up the chain to say, we would like to have, you know, CEI construction crews and line people to stay, you know, in Geauga County, because it's a small unit, but they're very effective and they do good work. And I think that it's a big thing for our county not to have to, you know, lose that, you know.
If I can draft something.
County.
And they definitely have linemen and so forth at that middle fields, because I know usually, I mean.
No, they have a full, I want to say there's either 4 or 5 people, and they handle all the servicing and they handle all the emergency call outs, and then they do also, you know, some of the tree work, the basic tree work that they need to do. You know, I actually I made a point to go and actually talk to them, and, you know, just to understand some of the stuff that they do for the county in Geauga. And I think it's a big loss And I think that, you know, you know, it's such a small number of people and the cost of where they're located is not a huge, cost for them to maintain. But I just think that it would be great if we could keep them in the county and, you know, they haven't gone yet. But if there's a possibility that they could stay, I think that we would really like to keep them here if possible.
Would you guys like me to draft a letter for you to consider for sending?
Sure, I'd like to hear more about the situation. I mean, I know.
Guy, see what the story is.
Yeah.
And maybe have I believe his name is Dave now.
Dave Conley.
Yeah, if he was our original, or not original, but second round, the representative when I came here. But if we can, maybe we could even see to reach out to him to come to the next meeting to talk and then, you know, we could just kind of get the gist of it. But I think it's a big advantage for us to have them stay here in Geauga County. And I really, it's sad to see that I understand in business that
they're hitting some hard times right now. So that doesn't surprise me, but I understand what you're saying as far as the loss to Geauga.
Yeah. You know, and when you got to look at it too, is the economic impact is when one of these companies, you know, a large factory goes down and they're waiting for service. What is the real, you know, roll down cost of them not being able to be up and running, you know? So that's, yeah, it does. And the other thing too is, you know, they're so close to the hospital to, you know, God forbid we lost power there or needed attention there. I mean, there's so many advantages for us to have our own people here in the county. And it's just, I think that maybe we could ask, you know, some other questions of what the actual, you know, economic cost is of what it costs to have them in Geauga. And you'll probably see that it's not an incredible big number, that what the end goal far exceeds what the costs are.
Okay.
So
I'll see what I can do for that.
Ralph, you're exactly right. I've had fielded some calls from residents. Talked to Dave Conley, the new outreach person, and I put it to him like this: we would probably put a letter together, maybe in conjunction with Emergency Management Services, Roger Peterson. And I says, if you could do a study on if something happened in Parkman, how long would it take from your workstation from Concord to Parkman, and so on and so forth. And then everybody can remember that last storm when trees are out all over the place. These guys just took off from Middlefield, and they were there on the spot sooner, much sooner than if they had to take off from Concord. So if you could start a letter and maybe get the thoughts and processes from Roger Peterson, Emergency Management Services, and combine that together, I think that'd be very helpful.
Okay.
You know, and then the other part of it too is that, you know, you take a situation like what you just were saying with that storm, is where does the priority then to Geauga County come in?
It's low already.
Last on the list.
Yeah, no, and they're gonna always target high density areas over low density.
Right.
That's just how.
And that's why I feel like we've kind of got a huge benefit by having our own crew of people here. And I would hate to see us lose that. It would be a big loss.
Okay.
Start working on it, Linda.
I will.
That'd be great.
Yes, sir.
All right. Anything else? Yes. Now we're in the public comment section. Everybody gets 2 minutes. You ran over a couple weeks ago. You're like a year and a half.
Until we get something better, we're stuck with this. Sorry.
I can put on my phone if you want.
Okay.
You have a ringer on there?
Yeah. Listen, guys. All right.
She's a thoroughly modern woman.
Okay.
I'm a millennial. I know how to do this. All right, let's go. I'm ready to go.
Go ahead.
Airport stuff, obviously. This was 3.5 weeks ago in a Maple Leaf. The important word in my mind on this article is the headline and the word clash. And I think as we see I think we've seen demonstrated here today, there is a clash. And you stop and try to figure out where the problem is with that. And I believe it's communication. There's a lack of communication, coordination, follow up, any number of things like that between the board and the airport authority. I've reached out to the commissioners as much as I could. I've reached out to the airport authority. And I'll tell you, I think we have some very intelligent and dedicated people on the board. We certainly have some dedicated and intelligent people at the airport board. Outstanding, in my mind, work that they have done to keep that airport going on a volunteer basis. There's no question in my mind about it. They need all the support they can get. There's also a responsibility they have to be fiscally attentive to your needs as a county. Second thing that's important is last Thursday, I had dinner with a neighbor, and I heard the phrase rich kids playground referring to the airport. I think we've all heard that at one point or another. Let me give you an example. How much more than anything like that it is. It is an environment where a kid or an adult can get into the aviation industry. And I'm here to tell you I'm a poster child for that. I was an inner city kid living without two parents. I was 12 years old, joined the Civil Air Patrol. I walked to downtown to Berkeley from airport to do that. And I ended up at a small airport, much like Geauga. Worked there, pumped gas, did everything, got my license, ended up instructing there, going to Air Force, come back, and made a career out of aviation. The airport is very, very important to us.
Thank you.
you.
State your name and where you live.
My name is Patty Fulop, and my address is 14994 South State Avenue in Middlefield. And first, I do want to commend you today on finally making a contribution, an investment in our county airport. It will go a long way to help making this airport more self-sufficient. That same article that the gentleman was referring to did push a couple buttons with me in the area of something that was said in the paper, goes to all the Geauga County residents, that says that the airport does in fact collect all of the rentals, the fuel sales, and the landing fees. Yet the article went on to say that it seemingly was that the commissioners pay all the bills. I'm hard pressed to see where the commissioners pay any bills, and Ms. Brandy, maybe you can attest to the number of times things come in monthly, the bills that need to be paid for the airport. I've been involved in the airport's budget process previously. The airport board that you have here is extremely responsible, financially responsible. They take their projected operating income, they take their projected operating expenses, and they balance that to the budget, and they do not need to ask for money for operational expenses. They do, however, and I think this is any place that provides infrastructure to the county, they need to ask for funds, yes, to grant match, which is something you have contractually agreed to do, but also to make investments into the airport and to economically provide financial support for the airport. And that's where I think we're a little bit lacking here. But I would love to see both the Maple Leaf and the responsible parties here for making those comments to reverse that. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Go ahead.
Mary Heinzman, League of Women Voters. I just wanted to say that I've had a lot of positive feedback on the live feed. And we use it a lot, and we also include all of the views in our weekly reports. And it's not just from the league members, but also from some residents. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks for letting us know.
Howard, South Russell Village. Back in December, they gave $250,000. The commissioners did for the dog pound. Has the money been sent to the dog pound yet? $250,000.
No, that is not.
When is it going to be sent?
When the plans are ready, and he's been working on the plans with the maintenance director And, they're looking at some engineering about that, but that is moving forward,
Will be this year.
probably.
What do you mean probably?
It depends on how long it takes to make the plan and make sure the board is okay with
The
it.
way it sounds, it's almost like it's the airport problem. The airport problem is important. The dog pound is important. So it's about time that we face up to things that are important and handle it. I'll check with Adrian, find out whether $250,000 is being sent.
It was kind of a surprise to the dog warden when that motion was made. So there were no plans already in place
Okay.
to utilize that money. So what is the process is right now, is he's coming up with a plan on how best to utilize that money to make the biggest impact
Okay.
on the dog pound. So, yeah.
They're a wonderful group of people.
Yeah, and Matt's been coming into the office regularly and we've been having discussions and talking about it. So it's not going by the wayside, not getting forgotten about.
Thank you very much.
We've had more communication with the dog warden better than ever before. And with that dog shelter, we're gonna treat it like, my thoughts, we're gonna treat it like any other building that the county owns, which is owned by the taxpayers, that we evaluate it first. That is a pole barn structure. And sometimes the poles rot at the ground level. So we're gonna investigate everything on that building to either repair or add on or whatever. So it has to be really analyzed. So we're spending the money wisely. We're just not gonna hand somebody dollars and say,
So
whatever.
as long as the money is there for when the paperwork is
Yes.
done.
yes. So
That's what was the problem with the airport. The paperwork was a little missing, and then there was a big concern about it. But we'd rather not have the dog board go through the same problem that the airport had to take care of.
Yeah, and not to get into the weeds, but those were very different motions. I mean, the motion for the dog warden was just $250,000 to the dog ward to improve the shelter versus the airport motion was, when that motion was made, it was dependent on an agreement being approved. So the agreement was never approved and then the motion was rescinded. So those are just so, I mean, that's kind of getting into the weeds, but those are two different motions and that's why they've been two different processes.
Thank you.
anyone else?
My question for Commissioner Spillier, why are you concerned about the cost of streaming, but you don't seem to be concerned about the equipment that doesn't work in the room? And I do know that's been brought up in this meeting, not just this meeting, but multiple meetings.
No, I'm bringing it up because people have been asking me about just the amount of people that they see here that are handling a movie, to manage a movie camera to do this. And I think that that's why I brought it up, is I've heard it from multiple people that have a concern of how much is it costing us to have all these people sitting here to monitor a camera, to take a video of this meeting. And, as far as why we're not focusing on this equipment, I think that might be a better question, for ADP to find out, what is the next step to getting this done? It sounds like they're in the process of working on a process to get some kind of hardware that they're waiting on. And I hope that does then correct the problem and it makes it that much more efficient.
Does anyone know how much that might cost to fix the room, and how much did the room originally cost to have it fitted in that way?
Oh my gosh. I would say how much it's gonna cost. That would be something that ADP will let us know when the time comes. Obviously, they're not done with whatever they're trying to do to make it work. As far as what it costs, when the building was built, I would not have that number off the top of my head. I'd have to go looking for it.
Right, in my position too would be is if there's a piece that's missing we were supposed to be getting with that, then we need to look into that. If there's hardware that, and once again, we're not IT people, like we don't know what the hardware is. So as far as that part of it, I would say again, ADP probably should have been assuring that the hardware was put in according to what it was supposed to be. I guess if they're ultimately the ones to look at the hardware and software, what's going on. I don't know.
Are
the
you
answers.
talking about this equipment here?
Right.
So my understanding was that this sidestepped ADP and ADP didn't approve it. Frank, could you confirm that?
Correct. I believe the technology was all part of the larger purchase, but in terms of having access to it, we never had access to it. And we were never responsible for checking the install or any of that stuff. That was done separately. And then it was, I believe, inspected and signed off on by somebody other than my department. I had nothing to do with that.
So did the ADP board ever approve this equipment?
I don't know.
Okay.
In fairness to the company, it may not have been specified to make this stuff functional because at that time, that board did not want to do live streaming. So they provided the equipment for some future use, which is a good look ahead, but they may not have spec'd all of the pieces for that because we had no intention of doing it at the time. I wasn't here. I'm just speculating. But that seems like a logical explanation why there might be pieces missing.
I believe Ms. Berhenny was correct. I believe they were instructed not to set it up with the ability to live stream at that time. And then obviously that changed in January this year. Most of the existing hardware will be usable for that. It's simply a matter of figuring out how to configure what's there and make it work within our system now. Linda's correct on that.
Linda, are you able to get Anastasia the information regarding how much the system cost? Is that something we have a public record on?
I could try.
Okay.
We'll have to go through.
This, yeah, I mean, this,
It should be a line in one of the pay requests from Donnelly's. We should be able to see a line item on there.
I think it was Infotech that did that. It was.
Was it,
one of
were
the
they a
subs.
sub of
Yes.
Donnelly's? Okay.
Yes.
There should, well.
You know
we
who might be
can
able to help me with that is Jarrett, because he is NV5 and he's representing us with the courthouse, but he also was with this building. So let me start with him. He's on vacation right now for 10 days, so it might take me a little while, but I'll see what I can do. Thank you. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Chris Schloss, Board of Geauga County Airport Authority. I want to say thank you to the board and to all of your administration on your approval of the resolution for $800,000. It's been a long time coming. It's been hard fought. There's some hard feelings and a lot of hard words have been said. But on behalf of all of us, I want to say thank you very much. It'll be well worthwhile and well spent and trustfully spent. So thank you again very much.
Okay.
That'd be Chris. Thanks.
Anybody else? Time to adjourn. Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.